All right, so you sent us this stuff about a giant crystal called Beledar, right? And it's like a sun for these folks that live in this massive underground cavern.
Yeah.
We're talking World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Specifically, we're looking at Hallowfall, a zone introduced in the latest expansion.
Okay.
And it's home to the Arathi, who are somehow transported there, like with their entire fleet.
Whoa.
Imagine their surprise finding themselves in this huge cavern with this colossal crystal as like their only source of light and warmth.
Yeah, talk about being thrown in the deep end.
Right.
So this Beledar, it's not just some random rock, right? It's like vital to the Arathi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've provided us with some first-hand accounts from the Arathi themselves.
Okay.
And it's clear that Beledar is deeply intertwined with their culture. They view it as a source of hope and wisdom, a symbol of resilience in the face of the unknown.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of how the Night Elves revere the Well of Eternity, but with like this whole added layer of mystery, you know?
Absolutely.
Speaking of mysteries, what's the deal with Beledar fluctuating between light and void energy?
Right.
That sounds intense.
And this is where things get really fascinating. Remember when Sargeras plunged his sword into Azeroth?
Yeah.
It seems that event had some unforeseen consequences.
Oh.
And Beledar was caught in the crossfire.
Oh, okay.
It began pulsating between light and void energy, plunging Hallowfall into periods of darkness.
Hold on. So it's not just like a visual thing.
No.
These fluctuations actually like impact the Arathi's lives.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Imagine living in a world where your sun, your only source of light and life, suddenly goes dark and void creatures start pouring out.
Oh my gosh.
The sources describe these shifts as incredibly unsettling, almost apocalyptic.
That's wild. I can only imagine the chaos. So how did the Arathi even cope with this constant threat? Did you just like live in perpetual fear?
You might think so, but the sources suggest that they've actually adapted in some remarkable ways.
Okay.
They've learned to predict the cycles, prepare for the darkness, and even utilize the unique properties of each phase to their advantage.
That's some serious resilience. Makes you wonder where Beledar even came from.
Right.
Any theories on its origins?
There are a couple of really compelling theories.
Okay.
And they both tie into World of Warcraft's broader lore on light and void.
Right, hit me with those theories. I'm all ears.
One theory connects Beledar to the Draenei,
Okay.
a race known for their deep understanding of both light and void. They've been around since the dawn of creation, and their history is full of encounters with these cosmic forces.
Right, I remember reading about their connection to the Naru, those beings of pure light.
Yes.
Who sometimes enter a void state. Is that where this is going?
Exactly. The way Beledar shifts between light and void is remarkably similar to the Naru's life cycle.
Okay.
It's almost like Beledar is a giant stationary Naru, except, of course, for the whole crystal thing.
Yeah, of course.
So that's theory number one.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Well, the other theory,
Yay.
and this is where it gets really interesting,
Okay.
is that Beledar might be something entirely new.
Oh.
Something we haven't encountered before in Warcraft lore.
Right.
It could be a manifestation of Azeroth's own power.
Okay.
A sort of safety valve for the conflicting energies within the planet.
So we have the Draenei connection, which makes sense given their history.
Yeah.
And this idea of Beledar being linked to Azeroth itself. Both pretty mind-blowing, to be honest. But how does Sargeras' sword fit into all of this?
Right.
Was that just a random trigger, or is there something more to it?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources we've got here don't offer any concrete answers.
Okay.
But they do hint at a deeper connection. Sargeras' sword was a weapon of immense power.
Right.
Capable of wounding a world soul.
Yeah.
It's possible that the impact of that wound destabilized Beledar, disrupting its natural balance and causing these fluctuations.
So I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. Yeah. We have this mysterious crystal, Beledar, serving as like a life-giving sun for the Arathi in this hidden underground world.
Right.
But then Sargeras comes along and just throws everything into chaos.
Yeah.
And now Beledar is this pulsating force of light and void.
And the Arathi, despite their fear and uncertainty, are finding ways to adapt and even thrive amidst these drastic changes. It's a testament to their resilience, their ingenuity, and perhaps their deep connection to Beledar itself.
It's incredible to think that this story is unfolding right now in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Beneath our feet, so to speak.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what other secrets Hallowfall holds.
Absolutely.
And what role Beledar will ultimately play in the fate of Azeroth.
You know, one of the sources you shared mentions a detail I found particularly intriguing.
Okay.
Apparently, even the creatures and treasures found in Hallowfall change.
Oh, wow.
Depending on Beledar's current state. Some only appear during the light phase, others during the void phase.
So it's not just the Arathi who are affected.
Right.
The entire ecosystem of Hallowfall is in constant flux.
Yes.
Reflecting the duality of Beledar.
Exactly. And that raises an important question. If Sargeras' sword was the catalyst for Beledar's fluctuations,
Right.
what happens now that the sword is gone?
Oh, that's a good point. Will Beledar stabilize? Will it continue to oscillate?
Right.
Or could it even become permanently stuck in a void state?
These are questions that only time will tell.
Yeah.
But the impact of Sargeras' actions is clearly still being felt. And Beledar seems to be at the heart of it.
It's like a ripple effect, spreading outwards from that pivotal moment. And who knows what other secrets Beledar holds,
Right.
what other mysteries are waiting to be uncovered.
The possibilities are truly intriguing.
Yeah.
This deep dive has only scratched the surface of Beledar's lore.
Okay.
There's so much more to explore, to understand.
Well, I'm definitely hooked. And you, our listener, I bet you're itching to know more about Beledar's connection to Azeroth and what Anduin Wryn's insights might reveal. Don't worry, we're going to dive into all of that in just a moment.
Absolutely.
But first, let's take a quick breather.
It's fascinating how even in a world as, fantastical as Azeroth, we see echoes of real-world challenges, right? The Arathi's adaptation to Beledar's fluctuations reminds me of how human societies throughout history have had to cope with unpredictable natural phenomena, you know, from floods and droughts to volcanic eruptions.
It's like a constant reminder that life is about adapting to change, about finding ways to thrive, even in the face of uncertainty.
Exactly.
But in the case of the Arathi, it's not just about surviving.
Right.
They seem to have found a way to embrace this duality of light and void, to incorporate it into their very way of life.
That's a great observation, and it speaks to a core theme in Warcraft lore.
Oh, okay.
The idea that light and void are not simply opposing forces, but rather two sides of the same coin. They exist in a delicate balance, and that balance is essential to the health of the universe.
So Beledar is like a microcosm of that cosmic struggle playing out right there in Hallowfall.
Exactly. And the Arathi, through their resilience and adaptability, are demonstrating a profound understanding of that balance. They don't shy away from the darkness. They don't try to suppress it. They recognize its place in the natural order.
Which brings us to Anduin Wryn, the king of Stormwind.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that he has some unique insights into Beledar.
Right.
What's his take on all of this?
Well, you see, Anduin is not just any king.
Okay.
He is a powerful priest, deeply attuned to the light, and he also possesses this incredible ability to hear the radiant song.
Right.
The very voice of Azeroth.
Right. I remember reading about that in the sources you sent. It's like he has a direct line to the planet's soul. Right?
Precisely.
Right.
And what's remarkable is that Anduin sought as a deep resonance between Beledar
and the slumbering titan within Azeroth.
Okay.
He describes this feeling as being very similar to what he experiences when he hears the radiant song.
So even though Beledar isn't made of Azerite, that substance that embodies Azeroth's lifeblood, it's still somehow linked to the planet's fate.
It seems so.
Wow.
And that raises some intriguing questions about Beledar's true purpose.
Like what?
Is it a safeguard, protecting Azeroth from some unseen threat?
Okay.
Or is it a warning sign, a barometer of the planet's health?
You know, one of the sources mentioned that Beledar's fluctuations were particularly intense after Sargeras struck Azeroth with his sword. Could there be a connection there? Is Beledar reacting to the wound inflicted on the planet?
That's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
Remember, Sargeras' sword wasn't just any weapon.
Right.
It was designed to sunder worlds, to sever the connection between a world soul and its physical form.
So the impact of that attack could have destabilized Beledar, causing these dramatic shifts between light and void. That's one theory.
Okay, what's another one?
Or it could be that Beledar is acting as a conduit, trying to channel the conflicting energies unleashed by the sword's impact, preventing them from further harming Azeroth.
It's like Beledar is this pressure valve releasing excess energy to maintain some semblance of balance.
Exactly. But the question remains, what happens now that the sword is gone?
Right, yeah.
Will Beledar stabilize? Will its fluctuations continue? Or could it even tip the scales permanently towards the void?
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
And what would that mean for the Arathi, for Hallowfall, for Azeroth itself? This is getting pretty intense.
It is, and it underscores the interconnectedness of everything in the Warcraft universe.
Right.
Even seemingly isolated events can have far-reaching consequences.
We started this deep dive with you wanting to learn about this cool crystal in World of Warcraft. And now we're talking about the fate of entire worlds.
That's the beauty of exploring lore, isn't it? You never know where it will lead you, what connections you'll uncover.
And speaking of connections, we still need to talk about those theories surrounding Beledar's origins.
Right.
You mentioned the Draenei and their connection to the light and void.
Yes.
Could Beledar be some ancient relic of their civilization?
That's certainly one possibility.
Okay.
The Draenei have a long and storied history, stretching back to the very beginnings of the universe. They've encountered countless wonders, faced unimaginable threats.
Right.
And their knowledge of the light and void is unmatched.
Right, and they were the ones who first encountered the Naru.
Yes.
Those beings of pure light who periodically enter a void state. Could Beledar be some kind of giant crystalline Naru?
It's a tempting theory, given the similarities between Beledar's fluctuations and the Naru's life cycle.
Right.
But there are some key differences as well.
Okay, such as?
Naru are typically humanoid in form, radiating energy rather than being composed of it.
Right.
Beledar, on the other hand, is a solid crystal structure, seemingly inert until these fluctuations begin.
So it's possible that Beledar is something entirely new, something we haven't encountered before in Warcraft lore.
Right.
But something that still operates within the established rules of light and void.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why this has sparked so much debate among lore enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so exciting.
Yeah.
We're on the frontier of discovery here, piecing together clues, exploring possibilities, and trying to make sense of something truly unique.
It's like we're archaeologists.
Yes.
Unearthing some ancient artifact and trying to decipher its meaning.
Exactly.
But in this case, the artifact is still active, still evolving.
Right.
And its impact could be felt across the entire world of Azeroth.
And what's really fascinating is that this isn't just a story confined to Hallowfall.
Oh, okay.
The Arathi people, through their encounters with Beledar, are also pushing the boundaries of our understanding of light and void.
You know, one of the sources you sent mentioned that the Arathi have developed these unique rituals and practices.
Oh, absolutely.
Based on Beledar's cycles.
Yes.
They seem to have found a way to tap into its power.
Right.
To harness both the light and the void for their own purposes.
Yes, and that's what I find truly remarkable.
Yeah.
They're not just passive observers.
No.
They're active participants in this cosmic dance.
Right.
They're adapting, innovating, and perhaps even shaping the very forces that govern their existence.
That's a powerful image, and it speaks to the resilience of not just the Arathi people,
Right.
but of life itself.
Yes.
Even in the face of overwhelming challenges, even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, there's this inherent drive to adapt,
Yes.
to evolve, to find a way to thrive.
I agree.
And who knows, maybe the Arathi's example can teach us something about our own approach to the challenges we face here in the real world.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Often in the fantastical worlds of games and stories, we find reflections of our own reality. And sometimes those reflections can offer us new perspectives,
Right.
new ways of thinking about our own lives and the world around us.
Well, you've given me a lot to think about. I'm definitely going to be paying closer attention to the lore surrounding Beledar and the Arathi.
I encourage you to.
But for now, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts on all of this.
Oh.
What's the takeaway for our listener who's been on this deep dive with us?
I think the key takeaway here is that the World of Warcraft is full of surprises, full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered.
Okay.
And sometimes those mysteries can lead us down paths we never expected,
Yeah.
challenging our assumptions and expanding our understanding of the very fabric of this universe.
And sometimes those mysteries can also remind us of the power of resilience,
Yes.
the importance of adaptation, and the interconnectedness of everything in the universe.
Absolutely.
Both the seen and the unseen.
Exactly.
So keep exploring.
Yes.
Keep asking questions.
Keep an open mind.
And never lose that sense of wonder.
You never know what wonders you might discover.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the mysteries of Beledar.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? From a simple question about a giant crystal,
Right.
we've delved into the very heart of Warcraft lore,
We have.
exploring themes of light and void, cosmic balance,
Yes.
and the enduring spirit of the Arathi people.
Absolutely.
We hope you've enjoyed the ride as much as we have. It's amazing how this one element, this Beledar, has so many layers to it.
Yeah.
We've talked about its impact on the Arathi, its connection to Azeroth, even its potential link to the Draenei.
Right.
But there's one thing we haven't touched on yet.
Okay.
What does Beledar mean for you?
That's a fantastic question, and
Yeah.
it's one that only you can truly answer, but I can offer some food for thought. Think back to your own experiences in World of Warcraft. Have you ever felt drawn to certain areas, certain characters, certain stories?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
There's some zones that just resonate with me more than others, places where I feel a sense of wonder and excitement.
Exactly, and I think Beledar embodies that sense of wonder. It's a place of mystery, of beauty, of danger, and of possibility. It's a reminder that even in a world we think we know,
Right.
there are still secrets to be uncovered, stories waiting to be told.
It's like Beledar is a microcosm of World of Warcraft itself, with all its complexities and contradictions. It's a place where light and void collide, where ancient civilizations intersect with modern conflicts,
Right.
where the fate of entire worlds hangs in the balance.
And that's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah.
It's a story that's still being written, and we're all part of it in some way.
Wow.
Every quest we complete, every raid we conquer, every choice we make, it all contributes to the tapestry of this world.
So what can you, our listener, take away from all of this? I think it's a reminder to never stop exploring, to never stop asking questions, to never lose that sense of wonder.
Absolutely.
World of Warcraft is a vast and intricate world, and there's always something new to discover, something new to learn.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one uncovering the next big secret.
Ooh.
The next piece of the puzzle that helps us understand the true nature of Beledar.
Right.
And its place in the grand scheme of things.
And until then,
keep your eyes on the skies, your ears open to the whispers of the wind, and your heart attuned to the pulse of Azeroth.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
The adventure never ends, and the mysteries of Beledar are waiting to be unraveled.
They are.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely.
And until next time, may your journey be filled with wonder and discovery.